The ancient Egyptian word Maat expresses a concept of order, balance, and harmony, important aspects of which were truth and justice. There is also a clear sense of right doing in its meaning. So to live a life in accordance with Maat was to live a good and correct life. The ancient Egyptians created divine manifestations of all that was important to them. This included the concept Maat. The goddess Maat was represented as a woman with an ostrich feather on her head. The ancient Egyptians believed that for life to go on in Egypt with maximum success, good health and prosperity, life had to be lived in accordance with Maat. It was the concept of Maat that held society together. We find in the ancient Egyptian wisdom literature that certain crimes were considered crimes against Maat. These included disorder, rebellion, envy, deceit, greed, laziness, injustice, ingratitude, and dishonesty. In one of the pieces of wisdom or instructive literature to survive from ancient Egypt, the instruction of Amenemope, we read, "Do not move the markers on the borders of the field, nor shift the position of the measuring cord." There was a clear recognition of right and wrong, an ethical code by which people were expected to live. This old man is checking a field boundary marker. He swears an oath written in hieroglyphs above him. As the great God who is in the sky endures, the stela is exact for the lifetime of this father. In this same piece of wisdom literature, we see it here. The ideal man is referred to as a silent man. His opposite is referred to as a heated man. We often find the ancient Egyptians claiming, "I have spoken Maat, I have accomplished Maat." They are claiming to have spoken truthfully and acted in accordance with justice. Ancient records, such as court documents, civil contracts, private letters, fictional tales, and royal decrees, give us a range of evidence for what the ancient Egyptians considered crimes and how these crimes were punished. As you'd expect, the ancient Egyptians refer in their records to theft, physical assault, murder, bribery, tax evasion, corruption, and fraud as crimes. After all, the ancient Egyptians were human. And the ancient Egyptians had courts to hear these cases with very harsh punishments. The vizier or prime minister of Egypt, who controlled the law courts of ancient Egypt, held the title priest of Maat. This is an image of the vizier Ramos. If we look at the hieroglyphs in the column to the right of his face, we see a duck. That in ancient Egyptian is chati. It's the ancient Egyptian word for vizier or prime minister. A gold Maat pendant, now in the British Museum, has been interpreted as the badge of office of a legal official. Other private offences might be drunkenness, not helping an unprotected widow, or seducing a married woman, and this was regarded as immoral behaviour, crimes against Maat, against the social and ethical code of behaviour. For these, the local community would assist in negotiations, which would hopefully lead to a solution acceptable to both sides.